What's up, YouTube? This is John with Super Deformed Gamescast, the only podcast on YouTube that really gives you the tools to create your own fun. We really, really do.
Good start.
Good start.
Yeah, no shit.
As always, I'm joined by Brian, Brandon, and Steve. What's going on, guys?
Hey, man.
Hello.
So, I've got a lot to talk about. It was kind of a big week. You know, we had the Tokyo Game Show go on. A lot got announced. I want to talk about a little later. Maybe I just want to mention that, as most people know, Destiny is finally out of beta. The Taken King has launched, and it's a lot fucking better now. But we'll get into that later. I want to jump right into the news that happened this week because a lot went down. And first of all, PS4 gets a price cut in Japan and the UK. And it looks like, if what I'm reading is right, it looks like it's getting a $100 price cut equivalent, because they use the yen over in Japan, and a $50 US price cut in Europe, which equates to like 70 pounds, I believe. So for me, anyway, at this point, a price cut in the US is a foregone conclusion. Or is it? I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, does this thing even need a price cut right now?
Phil Spencer sure thinks so.
I'd wait now.
Yeah, no, that was. I got to tell you, that was
Phil.
That was a smart play on his part. It really was. I'm pretty sure a price cut is. And it probably will, but that was very business savvy of him to come out with that.
Hashtag Team Phil.
But will it? I mean, will it? Does it need it? I mean, really?
It doesn't need it. It'll help. It'll be a boost.
Do you think you guys will? I mean, do you guys think it'll get it though?
They may wait until the holiday season's over.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is I think waiting until the holiday season before you do the price cuts would probably be their most prudent course, because I don't know if the price is really going to affect holiday sales. In all seriousness, I mean, if people are planning on buying a PS4 for Christmas, they're going to buy a PS4 for Christmas regardless of what the price is.
Well, and if people are going to buy a PS4 for Christmas, they're going to buy that freaking Battlefront bundle.
Yeah,
of course, yeah.
But I mean, regardless of whether or not, I mean, a price cut it's in the hatch, and at the very least, it has to happen before Morpheus launches next spring. It has to.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could see like an Uncharted bundle that comes in at a pretty hefty discount or something like that.
I can see that. I could absolutely see that. You talking about the collection?
No, Uncharted 4. Uncharted 4.
I got it.
Like early next year. What's that? April?
I mean, it has. If it's going to happen, it has to happen before the Morpheus launches.
Well, they did. They already announced the Uncharted collection bundle, didn't they?
Did they? Yo, you're right. They did.
I'm pretty sure that's happening.
Right. Yeah. Well, that kind of segues into my next little point. Is we've got an idea, not a hard number, but an idea at what Morpheus. So I guess PlayStation VR now is what it's called. Will launch at, and they say that it's going to launch relatively at the price of a console.
$300.
You're saying $300?
Yeah, that's like a good guess.
I'm going to go with I'm going to go with $199. I'm going to go with $199. Because I mean we've seen consoles launch at that before.
Yeah, the Wii.
The Wii. I think the PS2 might have launched at $199. I'm not sure.
Nah, PS2 is $299.
I know the PlayStation 1 was $199. I don't know. What do you guys think? When you hear relatively priced as a console from Morpheus, what does that say to you? I mean, we know. Let's take it to the extreme. We know it's not going to be that $599 garbage that they peddled for the PlayStation 3 launch. That's insane.
It'll be could not possibly be more than $3.
Do you think we'll see a bundle?
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I am not entirely sold on the idea of VR yet. I'm not going to lie.
Not on like PlayStation, but I'm sold on Oculus Rift for PC.
Yeah, but man, VR is. I mean, PlayStation VR. I will say this: that thing is going to be far more affordable than Oculus will.
Absolutely.
I mean, Oculus is what you're looking at. What over $1,000 for Oculus?
I mean, you got to buy a GPU to support it. So yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
You're gonna pretty much have to upgrade when that comes out.
Yep.
Unless you're rocking like a 980 right now, and that's pretty much like the bottom tier of what's going to support VR.
I am sure that I'll pick up PlayStation VR eventually. I'd like to try it before I do, because I mean, it's not like buying a console. I mean, this is kind of untested technology for me, and it's going to go one of two ways. It's either going to do really well, or it's going to fucking crash and burn. There's going to be no in between for this thing. And I can see it going either way. You know, I can see it. I can see it becoming a very, very, or like, you know, an accessory or an app that sells very well. I can also see it going the way of, you know, fucking PlayStation Move or Connect. You know,
Easily.
yeah. So I think that one's going to be a toss-up. There's also something else that happened this week before we start getting into the TGS shit that happened. Steve, you'll find this interesting or maybe you can help me make some sense out of it. So, Final Fantasy Type 0 Online announced for PC and mobile. Now, and for anybody who hasn't played Final Fantasy Type 0, that's the game that the Final Fantasy 15 demo was modeled with. It was a PSP or PS Vita game. I can't remember which one.
PSP.
Was it PSP?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a PSP game that was upscaled and released in HD for PlayStation 4, and I thought it fucking sucked. I didn't care for it. And I only bought it for the Final Fantasy 15 demo anyway.
Like people only bought Brave Fencer Musashi for the Final Fantasy 8 demo.
That's the only reason I bought it. Brave Fencer Musashi.
That game was actually all right. That game was totally all right.
It was great. So it's set in a parallel. So I don't know. Here's the announcement right here. At TGS today, Square Enix announced Final Fantasy Type 0 Online for Windows PC as well as iOS, Android, and Windows Phone. Type 0 Online is once again set in the world of Orients. According to Square Enix, it is set in a parallel world to the original Final Fantasy Type 0. It will feature action RPG gameplay similar to the original Type 0 as well as online multiplayer.
How would that show up?
I don't know. I wish they would just quit fucking around and throw all their assets behind 15 and get that shit out already.
I mean, they're sustaining their business with the mobile. Final Fantasy 15 can't exist without these games supporting the
Oh, sure. No, I absolutely agree. But, I mean, is anybody asking for this? I mean, didn't...
No, absolutely not. I mean, well, so it's kind of like a replacement for Final Fantasy Agito, which was only in Japan. So they canceled the service for that earlier, I guess, this year. And then so they're gonna launch this as like their Final Fantasy mobile phone thing instead.
Yeah, I had read the other day that Agito was canceled for the Vita. Which sucked. I was actually interested in trying that. But I don't know. I mean, is there really a market for this? I mean, if you're playing Final Fantasy Online, you're playing Final Fantasy 14. I mean, you know, I don't, and plus, you know, you got to figure it's coming out for PC and mobile. I mean, it's coming out for. I mean, you can play it on your iPhone, so I can't imagine that it's all that taxing.
God, no. Have you seen the trailer? It's a mobile game. It's a mobile-ass mobile game.
Is it really?
I mean, it looks like a shittier version of Type 0 with a worse frame rate, like a much.
I was gonna say, you can't really. You can't.
The trailer I'm watching is a slideshow.
Are we talking like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5?
Yeah, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, like I don't know. It feels weird to demo it like this because it's a slideshow. But the graphics look good for a mobile phone. It kind of looks like Type 0.
Yeah, it's not. That's really not saying a whole lot.
No, it's not. But for
that's actually my barometer for shitty visuals is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5. You'll hear me that.
For $60 games in this generation, yeah. Well, I mean, Godzilla is still the bottom tier for visuals.
I really want to play that just to see.
I'm sure it's going to be cheap as fuck very soon.
I you know what? I'll pick it up used, so I don't give the developer any of my hard-earned money. But it's kind of like when I picked up Ride to Hell Retribution for $5 at GameStop. Yeah. And I was like, I just have to fucking see this game. Steven,
you can watch a Let's Play on YouTube. What's the point?
What? Ride to Hell?
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea, actually. Have you, Brian?
It's kind of been done though. There's been a lot of Let's Plays on it because it is so horrid as a game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just watch it.
I would love to
it for yourself.
Watch
somebody else experience the pain.
It's a shame you don't live closer to us because I would love for us to just sit down and get fucking wasted and play Ride to Hell.
There's value in the Schadenfreude of watching somebody else play.
Well, and you can make it. You could take a shot every time it sucked. I mean, you'd be fucking wasted in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But I mean, Steve, have you heard of this game?
I have not.
You have
I
to.
don't want to be hospitalized, dude.
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it again because I got rid of it, and you have to come over and play it. You can't even really. You can't even really describe it.
It's exquisite in how terrible it is. Like it's almost you wonder if like you're being trolled by the game developer. Like they wanted to see if anybody would buy this just steaming, hulking turd of a game.
I'll give you a good example. So there are a lot of sex scenes in the game, right? And it literally, like, it literally, like, when people say, oh, women in games are trophies, in this game it's literally the fucking God's honest truth. You save women, and then they immediately have sex with you. But the fucking game designers were too busy or too lazy to program the characters in the nude, so all the sex you have is fully clothed. So
That's always how I felt about Mario.
These are sex scenes that are literally so unsexy I could show them to my 90-year-old grandma and wouldn't think twice about it.
Yeah, they have all the sexiness of date rape. I mean, it is probably the
about the same level of appeal.
It is probably the most horrific shit I've ever seen in my life.
Well, it's not even technically a date. So
it's not. No, it's just thank you for saving my life.
Yeah.
And oh my God, dude, Steve, do yourself a favor after the podcast. Pull up a video of the sex scenes in Ride to Hell. They're so. I mean, you could show them in front of your child, and they were like, why are these people wrestling?
Yeah, they'd be more confused.
Same recommendation.
Yeah, like what's why are these people trying? I mean, yeah, it's ridiculous. But
for liability purposes, I feel like we should clarify that is not what we're suggesting.
No.
All right. I don't want to fucking talk about that shitty game anymore. What else happened this week? Brandon, you mentioned this while we were not broadcasting. Persona 5 is officially not so much as delayed as we got a release date for 2016. I am shocked. I'm stunned that this game is not coming out in 2015.
So shocked.
When I say I'm stunned, I mean I'm not fucking surprised at all. And I actually think it's a good thing. Let it simmer. There's plenty of fucking games to play.
Persona games are long as fuck.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They take like 70 to 100 hours.
So. No, and that's the other thing, dude. Is
cool.
that
bring it on next summer when there's less time.
If you gave me Fallout 4 and you gave me Persona 5, it's impossible.
Forget about it.
Yeah, forget that. So, so I'm not concerned about that one at all.
How about those Persona 3 and 4 remasters coming to PS4, huh?
Wait, what?
There's a conspiracy theory. They blurred out some letters at the very end of the trailer, and it kind of alludes to what one could conceive as a hidden message. It's a bunch of bullshit, but people look for it.
Dude, if they release Persona 4 Gold for PS4, I would drop everything I'm currently playing. Everything.
I feel like it'd be a good move.
I would put the shit out. Oh, but I'll tell you what, though. Speaking of mysterious sequels, and so The Last of Us 2 may possibly have been outed.
Nolan North did it like a couple months ago.
Well, not only that, something very recently happened earlier this week. So it says, during a Naughty Dog live stream for Uncharted: The Nathan Drake Collection, writer Josh Stare, I think that's how you pronounce that name, uttered the phrase, The Last of Us, before catching himself and repeating the phrase a few more times. Apparently that's all it took for certain denizens of the internet to reach the conclusion that a sequel is indeed in development, calling the slip of a tongue an accidental confirmation. And then, as you stated, Brand, this isn't the first time this has happened. A few months back, Nolan North in Tampa, he said, "I know they're doing The Last of Us 2." Again, I don't see why this is news. Of course they're doing The Last of Us 2. I mean, the first one sold, 10 million copies?
Yeah, something like that.
No fucking shit they're doing The Last of Us 2. Why is anybody... Yeah, I'm excited, but nobody should be freaking out over it, because it's...
The real question is, what are they going to call it?
In other news, water is wet. I don't know, The Next of Us?
Something silly. I don't even know how you continue that series.
Yeah, well, and it's also because the ending of the game is kind of... I mean, essentially, Joel has, to be blunt, doomed the human race because he saved Ellie, which, yes, we all wanted to do it, but at the same time, it's like, okay, so what happened now? Everybody was exterminated? What happened?
Yeah, here's the thing, though. I don't think it's going to follow Joel or Ellie, nor do I think it should.
Yeah, I think their story's over.
I think their story is done. I think it's been told.
I feel like Druckmann feels like that, too, so...
I agree.
Well, no. My point was, Ellie is the one. She was like the godchild with the mythical cure in her, and if that cure wasn't used, then okay, so you know what I mean? Like, what is going to help stop the disease? Is there going to be another being that has the vaccine or the cure in it? Or that's my question. Is like, where does that universe go at this point?
You know what? I would. There was and for anybody who hasn't played, The Last of Us, I guess spoiler. I don't know. I won't get too deep into spoilers, but for anybody who has played it, when you're at the part of the game when you're going through the sewers, there's a series of notes left by a guy named Ish. And it chronicles him gathering together in the sewers with survivors. They build a life there, and then they try to get in and get out. I would love to see a parallel story focusing on his character, because these notes that you find throughout the sewer leading up to their escape are just fascinating.
That would have been a great DLC idea, but there's not enough there to build a sequel off of.
Well, that's enough of a starting point, but they could build a universe into where that goes.
Or I would love to see what happened maybe either with, if I guess you could do Joel if you focused on, I don't know, maybe 10 years prior. But really what I would like to see is either a story based on Ish or what happened in the lead up to those 20 years, like a new character at the very start of the infection. Kind of like what they're doing with Fear the Walking Dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd really like to see something like that. Whatever it is, we're not going to see it for another 3 years, I guarantee it. So this is all premature. And if they do focus on Joel and Ellie for the next game, which I don't think they will, and I hope they don't, but if they do, I can promise you that Ellie will be the main protagonist.
Oh yeah.
Guaranteed. All right. What else? All right. What else has happened this week? There's a lot, and I kind of want to get through it. Oh, here we go. Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but it says
they really try hard with those names, man.
They really, God, fucking Dream Drop Distance and Birth. I don't even know what the hell this means, but so okay. Square Enix and Disney Interactive have unveiled a new video and 5 screenshots for Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. I get tired reading
2.8 though? 2.8?
2.8. Not 2.9, not 2.7. 2.8.
2.85.
It's like the fucking review scores that I hate. We give this game a 9.2. Okay, well what's the 0.2? Originally released in 2012, Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance is a fully HD remastered version of Kingdom Hearts 3D. There's too many fucking Kingdom Hearts titles. God, this newly remastered title also features Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Birth by Sleep, a fragmentary passage. What the fuck is this?
Finally.
I love Kingdom Hearts games and I love Square Enix, but holy shit, I can't keep up with this. There's also a new HD movie that tells the mysterious story of the Foretellers, connecting the earliest parts of the series' history, showcased in the upcoming mobile title Kingdom Hearts Unchained 967.
They're only calling Kingdom Hearts 3 just Kingdom Hearts 3, right?
Yes, that's it. Until a year before Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out, and then it's Kingdom Hearts 3.9.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
On PS5.
But I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm really excited for Kingdom Hearts 3 because I was really big into 1 and 2. I never played Birth by Sleep or fucking, I don't know, Dreams in the Night, or I don't know what the fuck it's called. I never played it.
I played half of the first one.
Yeah, did you like it?
No, I hated it. That's why I stopped playing it.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know. I played it when it came out. It still wasn't into it.
Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I couldn't do it either.
It had the terrible gummy ship parts where you had to play. I don't know.
The gummy ship was terrible. Yeah,
the level design was terrible. The camera was terrible. People just liked it for the themes and the story, the dialogue, cutscenes.
I'm not gonna lie. The gummy ships were fucking stupid. And I didn't pay attention to. I built my one gummy ship and I used it in the entire game. I didn't care for that. All right, what else we got? So much news. Final Fantasy 15. New story details revealed. The report centered around a pair of characters, Noctis' father, King Regis, and the mysterious Luna, who I guess has replaced the character Stella. We learned that in order to protect the kingdom of Lucius, I think that's how you pronounce it, King Regis had to erect a magical protective barrier around the entire nation, but in doing so, the strain of the magic ate away at his body. This weakened state leaves himself, Noctis, and his kingdom vulnerable to the Nilfheim Empire.
This game better be more interesting than it sounds.
Yeah, I can't.
They can't do it justice.
I can't say Nilfheim seriously. I'm sorry. I can't. It's just.
Nibelheim.
We'll see when it comes out.
It's blah 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 blah. So basically, there's finally we have a name for the black-haired woman. Finally. Gentiana, that's her name. Whatever.
Sure, whatever.
She plays an important role in the game. There's a video of Noctis riding chocobos. I'd actually like to see that. And there's fishing. There's mini games again, and there's fishing. That's cool.
Why
It's
not?
an open world game. There better be something to do.
Yeah, I'm still excited about it. I know people are skeptical about 15 because it's been 20 years in development now. But I'm still excited about it. I just, again, Final Fantasy 15's release date will be announced at a special event in March. Just fucking tell us. I mean, please stand by for another 6 months, and then fuck that. Just tell us.
They're running out of time on the delay of the Final Fantasy VII remaster for PS4 as well.
We're not seeing that.
Because they said fall 2015, didn't they? It's fucking September.
We ain't seeing the Final Fantasy VII remake until 2020, guaranteed.
No, I'm not talking about the remake. I'm talking about the fucking remaster.
Oh, you're just talking about the remaster.
Fucking PC version. Yeah.
Wasn't that originally supposed to come out this past spring?
Yes.
Where is it now?
Exactly.
I haven't heard anything.
No,
I heard fall 2015, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's all I heard.
Exactly. And people were speculating that hopefully it was being delayed so they could do like a retranslation or something cool with it. They haven't announced shit for details.
I mean, you know what? I'll play it when it comes out.
I'll play it for trophies. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I want the trophies. Exactly. That's why I'll play it. I mean, if it comes out this holiday season, I may not get around to it just immediately, but I'll play it.
You'll probably finish disc 1 and put it aside for
disc 1. Yeah. I really, really want them to include that just for memory's sake, Please insert disc 2, and then you just hit X to continue. I'd love to see that. They probably won't. They probably won't do that.
Like an homage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'd love to see that. That would make me feel all nostalgic and warm.
So would I.
Okay, so before I forget about it, Destiny, as I mentioned earlier, is finally out of its beta stage, and the Taken King is launched. Okay, really, it wasn't in beta, but it felt like it was.
Real quick, Metal Gear Solid 4 did a cool thing like that.
What did it do?
In Metal Gear Solid 4, I think it's Otacon talks to you about how it's cool that you don't have to change discs in the PS3 anymore.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember that. Yeah, I love those. That's one of the reasons I'm a little disappointed in Metal Gear Solid 5. Now that I've reached the end,
it doesn't have those little things.
It doesn't have those little Metal Gear moments, And the gameplay is superior, but the story was just so lacking. I mean, I won't get into spoilers, but it was just what a disappointing story. That can't be the game that Kojima wanted to be his swan song.
Well,
I think it's probably about 75% of it.
Yeah, it just can't. And it's the first Metal Gear game, and probably I would say the only Metal Gear game where I finished it, and then I was like, I'm done. I have no need to go back. I don't feel the need to. But moving that aside, I wanted to talk about Destiny a minute. So I've been playing the Taken King quite a bit this week. And Steve and I have been. Last night we did a few runs through the Crucible.
Killing it.
It's like playing a different game.
Yeah.
I no bullshit. I am wildly impressed with what they've done with that game. It reminds me, Steve made a really good point. It reminds me of what Square did with Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. It feels like an apology. Really it does. That's the best way I can describe it. There's a hold on a minute. What is this? Oh, thank you, honey. My wife just brought me down a slice of cake. Thanks, baby.
Can it really be called an apology when they're forcing you to buy a new expansion pack and taking content away from the people who already bought the game originally?
I expect
that doesn't sound like an apology to me.
I apologize.
Yeah.
Well, video game companies are going to be video game companies. I will say this. It's a shame that it took a year, but Destiny finally feels like the game it was supposed to. There is a ton of fucking content. All that light leveling bullshit is gone. Well, it's not gone, but you just level to 40 the old-fashioned way. You kill enemies, you get fucking experience, and you level up. Your light level is now tied specifically and primarily to your armor and your weapons, and it doesn't affect your actual level at all. There's quests now, and there's actually so many, and they actually took it to an extreme. Vanilla Destiny, it had, you had your bounties, and then you had your patrols that you ran, and that was that. That was it. There was barely any interaction with NPCs at all. But now you have actual quest lines, you have quest givers, and there's a story behind everything. And there's actually so much to do now that it's a little overwhelming. There's new strikes, there's a new raid. I watched a video of the new raid, and it's pretty incredible. The scope of Oryx when you actually fight him is like nothing I've seen in a Destiny raid before. And I've done the Vault of Glass, I've done Crota's End.
Well, this isn't just a glitch in the corner either.
What's that?
This isn't just glitch him out in the corner either.
No. Apparently there's no way to solo it. They added mechanics into the raid where it requires a full team, and there's apparently no way to glitch him out. There's apparently no way to actually cheese Oryx himself.
You can't unplug the Ethernet cable.
Yeah, apparently none of that shit works. The world first happened yesterday. I guess somebody beat Oryx after 8 or 9 hours. They finally took him down, which is the longest. I think it was the world first for Vault of Glass took 6 hours. I think the world first for Crota took 6 or 7, and so this has been the longest it's taken so far. There's a bunch of new strikes. They're all awesome. The new strikes are heads and shoulders, leaps and bounds above what came before. And the cool thing is that if you run some of the older strikes, they actually have Taken versions where there's a new enemy faction called the Taken, and if you run an old strike, like for example in the one where you fight Sepix Prime, instead of that Goliath tank in the middle, I ran through today. There was something called a Taken Gate Lord, and it was hard, and he dropped a bunch of purples. So it's really I'm very impressed with what they've done with it.
I think they fixed the loot a little bit too.
They
you
did
could play in the Crucible like nonstop, and you'd get like nothing. But now I come away with strange coins and motes of light, and I just play for a few maps. So they fixed that in a big way.
Well, and if you run through the game itself, outside of the Crucible, I mean, there's blues dropping like it's nobody's fucking business. And there's a whole new explorable area on the what's it called, the Dreadnought. All in all, I'm really fucking impressed with it. I know a lot of people are cynical about Destiny. I was too, but
I'm still one of those.
I gotta tell you though, it's a lot of fun. It really, really is. I'm very impressed.
I'll say it reminds you that, I mean, you hate to use the car because of the engine pun, but the engine was really good in this car, and everything else was screwed up, and it made you think, well, this thing's fucking undrivable. Now they've fixed the pedals and the blinkers and the radio and the seat, and now you remember, oh shit, this thing's got quite an engine, and you can go on and play with friends, and it's actually fun. You kind of wonder how long the content is going to last, because every single time they've rolled out an update, it's 2 weeks worth of content, and everybody's bored again. But for now, it seems like there's a lot of people playing and having fun again, and that's nice to see.
It is, and
seeing that I've spent all this money on the game.
I think that this is going to give Destiny, honestly I do, I think it's going to give Destiny the legs it needs, for lack of a better term. It's not like nobody was playing Destiny, I mean, but if you look at people really want this game to be, what it could be. If you look at the first day sales for Destiny, we don't have exact numbers, but it is the most downloaded day one PlayStation game ever. And there were more playing.
The original Destiny.
Well, exactly. There were more people playing Destiny the day the Taken King launched than there were the day Destiny itself launched, which I think is really impressive.
Also well timed.
Well timed, yes, and of course, now the big question is are we going to get more? And I think the answer is, of course we are. I mean, they're not going to stop producing content for Destiny. The question is when is Destiny 2 coming?
I'm just glad they haven't introduced a monthly fee. I haven't put that past them yet.
No, there's no way. This game will never ever have a month. Nope.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
They're going to want to take our money.
Down in other ways, but they won't go with that.
Yeah, I think that would alienate the fan base to a degree. I would drop it. I love that. I mean, I love what they've done with the Taken King, and I feel like Destiny has its claws in me again. If they started charging me to play it, no, fuck that, I'm out.
They'll find more creative ways to monetize it.
Oh sure. Well, and a good example of that is the whole Red Bull promotion. You guys hear about that?
Where you can just kind of enter codes on their generator.
Yeah, they had this promotion going where you could go get Red Bull, which is fucking horrid. If you never had Red Bull, it tastes like shit. But you buy a can of Red Bull, and they've got a promotional code, just like you said, Brandon, on the can.
So much for our sponsor.
And then yeah, I know, right? Sorry. I guess we'll have to stick with Monster.
Yep, Monster.
But you enter the you get your promo code, you put it in PSN, and then you download your mission, and there you go. I have no fucking desire to go buy a can of Red Bull to get an exclusive mission on Destiny.
It's probably the shittiest mission.
And it's probably a terrible mission.
It's got to be such a waste of time.
It's probably stupid. Of course, we say that. I say that there's probably a sweet exotic weapon tied to it. But I'm not going to buy a fucking can of Red Bull to get it. And this is, I don't see games do this incredibly often. I think the last time I saw a game actually put a promotion out on a product was way back when Arkham City came out. And there was I remember you could buy a can of Monster or whatever, and there was a code on the can. And if you put the code in, you could download a new Batman skin. It was like Batman Beyond. You could get the Batman Beyond skin.
Mad Max has a weird cross promotion going on with Rockstar energy drink.
Yeah, I heard. Don't you get like a car made out of?
Yeah, you get like a custom vehicle, and then you can take it to a part of the map and enter it in a specific race. And if you finish the race in a certain amount of time, it enters you in a contest to win a real life, like a dune buggy.
That actually kind of, Brandon, I'm interested. You have finished Mad Max, I saw from your.
I finished it yesterday. Yeah.
Tell me what you thought. I mean, what are your final thoughts about Mad Max? Because I hear a lot of different. That is a very polarizing game.
It is. It's going to be, because it depends how sick you are of the Ubisoft open world formula, because it's that times a million. And if you're as sick as fuck as I am, then you're going to not get a lot out of it. I mean, if Shadow of Mordor was your shit, Mad Max is going to be your shit too.
Was it bad? I mean, I've played a few hours of it. I get the distinct impression that Shadow of Mordor is an overall much better game.
In some, so it's got a much better melee combat system. There's way more stuff that you can do in that game, and it throws way more groups of enemies at you that lets you actually use those abilities. In Mad Max, you're never fighting more than groups of like 4 or 5 guys at a time. But where it comes in, the gimmick of Shadow of Mordor was the Nemesis system. With Mad Max, I mean, you got the car, and so the car is awesome. I mean, it adds kind of like a burnout element where you're sideswiping guys and boosting through the desert.
Yeah, I really like those sections. Yep.
But then once you upgrade the harpoon to the point where you can rip the tires off the enemy cars, like all you do is just press circle and you win.
It was. So what harpoon is easy mode?
It is, and nobody's saying you have to, but like, what's the point? Because
if it's there, you
once you get the upgrade, you're just gonna be more. You just want to be as efficient as you can be, because there's a lot of shit to do in the game.
How many hours?
I mean, my counter. So I think the rest mode on PS4 screws up the timer. It said something like 5 days. But, I mean, I'd say probably 60 hours, 70 hours maybe.
It's a lot of gameplay.
In that range, yeah, big time. I went a little overboard chasing trophies and shit.
Now, here's my question, though. Like I said, I've been through about 5 hours of it, and then Taken King came out, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to jump on that. How much of that is story, and how much of that is, I'm going to check this box now?
Yeah,
story is like 5%.
Really?
Oh, the missions are short as fuck. They barely even exist. Yeah.
Huh.
And the the blue objective, like wasteland side missions, are shorter than that, and
really?
There's less of them.
That's disappointing to me, because I was hoping those would tack on a little more meat.
No, it's really not. The point is just driving around and just tackling every little objective that you kind of come across as you come across it, and that's what you're going to be doing for like 90% of the game.
So what defines?
And then every once in a while you'll kind of get close to an objective, and you're like, okay, maybe now it's time for a story mission, and you'll do it. And they're super weak.
What's super weak?
The mission design.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I've only been through like 2 story missions. I haven't really jumped into it yet.
They never get complex in any way.
And maybe I won't now. I mean, it was. I'll give it this. It's a fucking gorgeous game. I mean, it seems like that's where all the effort went into, is the visuals.
Atmosphere. Yeah, when the storms roll in.
Yeah, that is impressive.
And if you got the balls to stay out in the storm, there's like these scrap crates that you can collect that have.
But
like,
I mean, visuals are no, and at least in my opinion, visuals are no match for rock solid gameplay. In my opinion, I'll take a game with 16-bit era graphics and excellent gameplay over something like Batman X any day.
You remember how bad the missions were in Mordor, right?
They were so fun.
I didn't think they were bad.
I thought they were so bad. I thought they were some of the worst like missions I played in an open world game.
So kill orcs. I'm good with it.
I mean, Talion was a very cliched character. Like, I'm a pissed off guy. My family's dead. Now I'm gonna kill some motherfuckers. I get that, but I had more fun in Mordor just sneaking around and causing havoc than I did anything else. Poisoning Grog, and half the fun of Mordor. Well, let's be honest. If Mordor didn't have the Nemesis system, no, forget it. But because of the and that is what made that game truly. I was like, that was the first game I played for for this current gen. I've been like, okay, all right, the next gen is here. The Nemesis system is where it's at. I couldn't tell you the first thing about the story. I just had fun going around mind controlling orcs and pitting one against the other and watching it play out.
I learned so much about orc politics.
I know, right? Yeah. My favorite thing was I had this one guy chasing me through the map, this one fucking orc, and his name was Douche, and it was spelled D-U-S-H, but
nice.
it was pronounced douche. And so every time he would come out and face me, you would hear all his orc buddies chant douche.
That's great.
Douche. And I was like,
did he have a title like douche the something?
Yeah, he was like
the
douche.
lavender.
No, and the best part is I think he was like douche the unwashed. So I was like, this is fucking great. I literally I did about 60 or 70 hours in Mordor because I just thought it was a fantastic game. I never killed him because I got so much enjoyment out of hearing douche.
Well, he wasn't your nemesis. He was.
He wasn't my nemesis.
He was your muse.
I almost want to say that he was like my buddy.
He was your muse.
He came around, we practiced sword fighting, and then I ran off because I was done. There was a time I almost killed him, and if I had, I literally would have reloaded a save off the cloud because I did not want to kill douche. I just couldn't kill douche, man. He was my douche. What a great.
It was a really fun one.
Shadow Mordor was really good, dude. And which is why, and I generally don't like the whole like Brandon was saying, I generally don't like the Ubisoft Assassin's Creed style of gameplay anymore. Like okay, here's 10 story missions, and you can climb 30 towers, and here's some fucking missions where I just can't do that.
There have been a lot of games like that have come out between Mordor and now.
Quite a bit.
So I understand how it wasn't quite as worn out back a year ago.
Well, dude, that's what people like. And that's what I think. That's where I think Metal Gear Solid 5 went wrong. Is that everything has to be open world now? Everything.
Well, they're substituting gameplay for writing, and there's no story past what you'd hear in like a corporate pitch. Like this guy goes around and kills orcs. Like, all right, where's the rest of the story? And you compare that to, of course, Final Fantasy VI, and there's really no comparison. Like there was writing in Final Fantasy VI.
What was that?
Well, I said there was writing in Final Fantasy VI. People wrote out a story, and you played through a story. There's very little of that now. I mean, you don't get it.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. There are games with story. I mean, BioShock Infinite, for example, had a fantastic story. Say what you will about the gameplay, but I mean, it had a great story. It had elements of racism and nepotism and American exceptionalism that you don't really see very often represented in games. And I thought they really took they made statements on both zealous nationalism and the Occupy movement. I mean, I really feel like and I don't know if Ken Levine actually said as much, but I really feel like, for example, the founders in BioShock Infinite were based on, really zealous, nationalists, and the Vox Populi, I feel like, were based on the Occupy movement. And it didn't really paint either group in a positive light. I mean, they both ended up being terrible. And I thought that was a really, really fascinating dichotomy that hadn't been. I'd never experienced something like that in a game before.
And not really since.
And not really since. I mean, I thought. I mean, as far as BioShock Infinite goes, I yet have seen a story to match it.
the best games like that, you know, a lot of times video games are very much fall into the trap of you're the good guy and you're fighting against the bad guys, and there's never any debate as to which side is bad and which side is good, and the bad guys always have nothing but irredeemable qualities, and the good guys have nothing but good qualities. And I think the best stories are the games that go away from that. I mean, you can look at it in Skyrim. It's another good example of, you know, the Stormcloaks on the Focus seem to be just fighting for freedom, but then it turns out that they're pretty much racist and all this kind of stuff. So, you know, the best stories are the ones where you can pick either side and not necessarily feel good or necessarily feel bad about it.
I'll say Skyrim and The Witcher are the exceptions, but like games like Destiny or even Metal Gear, apparently Mad Max, although I didn't play it, have great gameplay, but they're just kind of unfinished in that they don't have a true story.
Yeah, but Steve, I mean, you know, Steve, you've stated to me multiple times though that you're more of a multiplayer game guy anyway. I mean,
Hold on, wait. I want to say, like, a thing about Mad Max is it's very much about making your own story. So you're like it's like a Max simulator where you're just kind of like role playing his days going through the wasteland looking for scrap and gas and whatever, and that is the story. And like the actual plot of the game that gets told through cutscenes is just kind of like this other thing. But really, I mean, that's what people enjoy about these open world games is that you're kind of the emergent gameplay and making your own story.
And that's, you know,
I guess you could say the same thing about Orc Simulator. I mean, that was a good game, but it just you made your own story. You did
I mean, dude, that game really gave you the tools to create your own story.
There it is.
It really did. You know,
Good Lord.
It's not going away anytime soon, man. So it's your fault anyway. You brought it up.
Totally my fault, absolutely.
So I kind of wanted to touch on something that I thought was really interesting this week, and it's so there was a movie that came out called The Game Changers. Have you guys heard about this movie?
Yeah, the Rockstar thing, BBC.
Yes, exactly. So Brian and Steve, in case you guys don't know what Steve, it sounds like you don't.
I don't.
So the BBC produced a movie starring Daniel Radcliffe and Bill Paxton called The Game Changers, and it's about Rockstar Game. It's about the battle really between Rockstar Games and Jack Thompson. And of course, you know, Jack Thompson was the lawyer a few years ago who was on a crusade against violent video games.
Yeah, like 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was. Well, I guess has it been that long, really?
Yeah, because it was around when Grand Theft Auto San Andreas came out.
Man, I'm getting old.
2004. Yeah.
But well, I mean, he was more recent than that, though. Like, you know, there was the whole Virginia Tech shooting, and then
sure, and then he got disbarred.
He got disbarred because he's a fucking asshat. But so the Game Changers is about the conflict between Rockstar Studios around, you know, for, you know, Coffee Mod and Jack Thompson. And the reason I bring this up is because I wanted to talk about stereotypes of gamers in society. I have not seen the movie, but I've seen several clips of the movie, and I've talked to people who have seen the movie. And I do plan on seeing it myself.
Is it streaming anywhere online? Because I've only seen the trailer.
I don't know if it's streaming anywhere online.
I'm sure it'll be on YouTube.
I'm sure it will. Yeah. So from what I've seen and from what I've been told, the movie almost paints Jack Thompson in a very sympathetic, heroic light.
I totally believe that.
And it also portrays Sam Houser, who was a producer for Rockstar, as like a very empirical, you know, taskmaster who yells at his employees, and he says very pithy things throughout the movie. And this is a direct quote: "If we're gonna do this, we have to take it to the next level."
Yeah, I'm sure.
And then so there's a part or two in the movie where you see a gamer and he's playing Grand Theft Auto 3, and of course, you know, it's one of those things where, like, all of a sudden, you know, he's staring at the screen, and, you know, the room starts spinning around him, and he's looking at what's happening on the screen, and the colors start becoming muddled, and his hands shake, you know, and he's like staring dead-eyed at the screen, and I'm just like, you know, I'm looking at this.
They really like to fuel the controversy, do that, don't they?
They really do, and
they
like,
really want to sell more copies of GTA 5, don't they?
I was like, you know, well, so here's what. So I've got an article on the Independent here, and it says, the BBC's TV film The Game Changers was broadcast last night, and the Grand Theft Auto developers it depicted weren't too happy with its version of events. The one-off drama saw Daniel Radcliffe play Rockstar producer Sam Houser during the developers' legal battles in 2002 over the GTA series San Andreas title. And then it goes on to talk about, you know, the Jack Thompson's, you know, portrayal as, you know, ultimately it caused him to get disbarred because he went down this rabbit hole, but the movie
American
portrays him.
hero.
Exactly, the movie portrays him as a heroic figure, and Sam Hauser is kind of this fucking this asshole who treats his employees like shit. And I don't know if that's true or not. I know about Jack Thompson. I don't know anything about Sam Hauser.
There have been reports coming out that he controls with a rather tight fist, but I mean anything else is pure speculation.
Exactly. But what I wanted, the reason I bring this up is, again, I wanted to talk about your stereotypical gamer. Really referencing, because this movie seemed to me, like from what I've seen and from what I've heard, it's stuck in that late '90s, early 2000, idea that not only are games violent and bad for you on a mental level, but the people who play them are fucking neckbeards who sit in their parents' basement.
Time really repeats itself because that's when the original controversy over the first GTA was happening, like 1998.
Yep, exactly. So I don't know. I mean, and I wanted to kind of pose the question to you guys: will we ever break out of this cycle? I mean, is this something we're ever going to get past?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think there's always going to be somebody. There's always going to be somebody who disassociates themselves enough to say that there is that extreme stereotype somewhere in a basement with a neckbeard, and probably a sweet-ass neckbeard. But all the same, it's probably a lot more people gaming that don't identify themselves as exactly what they are, which is that middle moderate ground of a growing phenomenon. I mean, so many people play games now. It's not nearly just the one guy in his basement with his head spinning and a sweet-ass neckbeard.
I don't know.
Sweet-ass neckbeard.
It is. I used to have a sweet-ass neckbeard. I got rid of it, though. Now I'm fucking handsome. But I don't know. Like,
you got to bring that neckbeard back.
I really do. I can't do it. My wife likes me clean shaven.
So many people play.
I would even argue, I mean, you can look at the evolution of esports as something that is kind of shows that it's becoming more and more accepted. I mean, you have League of Legends Championship Series that millions of people watch on stream, hundreds of thousands watch live. The World Championships are going to be played in 4 different locations this year: Paris, Belgium, Germany. I mean, it sold out the Staples Center. I mean, these are all things that weren't possible 10, 12 years ago. So I would dare say that, I mean, as gaming becomes more and more socially accepted, I think more and more people aren't going to see it as the cultural fringe anymore. But you're right, though. There's a lot of people that are gamers now that don't understand that they are, and they just think that there's a difference between playing games and being a gamer, and the truth is there isn't a difference.
Well, and I'll take it a step further. I mean, I'll use my own mother as an example, and there are people you will just never.
So many jokes.
Yeah, I know, right? There are people you will just never fucking convince that this is a thing now and it's here to stay. And my mother is a good example. Like, you look at me and I'm a successful guy. I've got a family. I've got a son. I've got a wife. I make a really good salary. I won't talk about how much I make, but I live very comfortably. And if you were to walk down in my basement right now, I've got shelves sitting right above me with Sub-Zero and Scorpion action figures. I got my Spider-Man. I got Deadpool. I got Godzilla. I mean, I got all kinds of. I got a little Borderlands claptrap thing going on. I got fucking Deadpool posters on the wall, and I got all kinds of comic shit going on. So and that's just who I am. What's that?
Your man cave.
My man cave, dude. I mean, it's a serious fucking man cave down here. My mother comes down here and she sees all this and she goes, you got to be kidding me. And I'm like, what? What's the problem? And she says, I thought you moved past this when you were 16. You're 35. And just try to sit there and have this conversation with your mother and tell her, Mom, look, the average age of a gamer these days. I mean, and I hate that fucking term, like, oh, gamer. For me, itself, the term has become something toxic. But I mean, then that's when you have to. I have to tell her, look, the average age of your everyday gamer, your guy plays video games, is 33 years old, and most of us have families, and most of us make a decent wage, and most of us are married. And it's you have to look at everybody. I mean, most guys our age these days. Back when we were 15, 16, we were playing Super Nintendo. We were playing Sega Genesis, and that's the generation that we are. When we're in our 60s and 70s, instead of talking about what happened in the 50s and 60s, when we're talking to our grandkids, we're going to be talking about the fucking games we played. Which I'm going to be playing.
I'm going to be playing video games with my son, hopefully, as he grows up and all of that.
Final Fantasy VI when I'm 70 years old. I don't even give a shit.
And it's not just nerds. I mean, a lot of dudes. I think Kevin Durant says he plays a lot of video games. You got Xavier Woods with Up Up Down Down on YouTube.
Yeah, I really.
He's much funnier than us. So.
He is a lot funnier than us. He's a lot bigger than us. I'm a pretty big guy. He's a lot more muscular than even I am.
And he brings people on from, he hangs out with that you wouldn't expect, but they definitely play video games and they play them well. So, I mean, at the same time, nobody's going to deny that there's somebody with a sweet neck beard playing video games in his basement someplace. But I mean, it's more than just that at this point.
And by the way, I just heard about that guy this week, Xavier Woods or whatever.
Let me tell you something. And for anybody listening, he's a WWE wrestler. He seems like a really cool guy, and he has his own YouTube channel where he plays games. It's Up Up Down Down on YouTube. I highly recommend you go check him out and subscribe because he's hilarious and awesome. But
you can also find him on Brazzers eating a mayonnaise sandwich.
Yes. Oh, I love that video. I love that video. So he went on Kind of Funny Games, which I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'm a huge fan of Colin and Greg. But he went on Kind of Funny Games, and he had lost a game of Soul Calibur, which is just such a fucking awesome classic game. Yeah, to Dan Reichert at Giant Bomb, and since he lost, he had to eat a hot dog sandwich slathered in maybe like 3 cups of mayonnaise.
That's absolutely disgusting.
It's horrible, and and the guy hates mayonnaise. He almost barfs during it. I felt so bad for him. But the video itself is great. I highly recommend anybody listening or anybody who will listen to this to go check out Xavier Woods, his real name is Austin Creed, and he is a genuine. I mean, this guy is old school, just like us, and he gets mad props from me.
When I first saw him with that, they showed that video.
He knows everything about it.
Yeah. Well, they did the WWF thing they had trumpets, and they did the Final Fantasy fanfare. Like during his live WWE event. That's how I think about it.
Yeah, I don't watch wrestling, but he had this video. If you guys haven't seen it, I know it sounds like Brandon has, where he was on a live WWE broadcast, and he's got this group called the New Day, and I guess they're just really fucking goofy. But he grabs this trombone and he plays the Final Fantasy themes, the victory fanfare. He's like, and let me see if I can pull it up because. I thought that was fucking great. Let me see if I can pull it on the old YouTube chat here. That way I don't have to hold my fucking phone up to this microphone. But no, yeah, anybody watching, I highly recommend you go see, you go check out his YouTube channel. We could always
leave it at that. I mean, it never sounds right when we put a phone up.
Well, there's a way that you can put YouTube up on Google Video here.
Well, if we can
figure it out.
What's that?
If you can figure it out, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, let me see. I've done it before. I just can't. Oh, here we go. Look at this. Look at this. Pull it up right here. Hopefully, you guys will be able to see it.
Well, all the same, I do think that's still going to be a generation or two before that gets broken.
Yeah.
Hopefully sooner.
If you type in Xavier Woods trombone, it's literally the first thing that comes up.
I would hope there are not too many things.
Yeah, really. What happens if you type in rusty trombone?
Oh, it goes back to the mayonnaise sandwich. So, have you guys played Destiny at all? Brandon, did you check it out?
No, I haven't played it since last year. I'm done with it.
You think so?
I played it for a week just to get through the campaign, see what it was all about, and then I traded it in.
Yeah, I re-downloaded it.
I guess the video is loading. It'll come up when it comes up. Brandon, were you saying that you have played Destiny?
He said he's done.
You're done?
I got up to like level 20 when it first came out, and then just traded it in because it was still worth $40 trade in. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it.
It's a shame, man. Like I completely.
It's not a shame at all. It's absolutely not a shame.
I understand the sentiment, but it is a much better game now.
I'm sure it is, but I don't really care about playing online FPS right now.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame.
I want a good single player FPS.
I'm surprised you. Dude, fucking Doom next year, man.
Hopefully, yeah.
Doom.
Hopefully good.
I'll tell you what. After Wolfenstein, I have the highest of hopes.
Same guy doing the soundtrack.
Is it really? That's good news.
Nick Gordon. He did Killer Instinct, and then Wolfenstein, and now Doom.
Let me ask you this: are you a Borderlands guy?
No, not at all.
Oh God, the hell!
I don't care about loot.
Oh my God, Borderlands 2 is
Diablo.
Borderlands 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, man. I fucking love that game. I
I
cannot.
love Tales from the Borderlands.
That is really good. Yeah. But I do. There's something to be said for just a good shoot and loot session, man. You're telling me that if Borderlands 3 comes out, you won't get it?
No.
Oh, such a shame. What if I got
ruin our Let's Play?
What's that?
He's gonna ruin our Let's Play.
He will. Yeah, dude. Man, you're always such a downer, Brandon.
Now, if they're going to bring Phantasy Star Online 2 over to the U.S., I would play that.
I don't think that's going to happen, brother.
No, absolutely it's not going to happen.
I think you're going to be waiting a while on that one.
I played it a little bit on the Japanese servers.
I'm surprised you don't play Final Fantasy 14. I'm totally honest with you.
I tried out when it first came out.
It's a
I
slow
tried both
start.
versions.
It's
I tried the original release, which was a disaster, and then I tried the 2.0. I'm not a big MMO guy, so I just kind of wanted to see what it was like, so I played it, I think, like 1 to 20.
I'm not a big MMO guy either, which is why I'm stunned that I'm enjoying Destiny as much as I am.
Well, I think Destiny made it a point to capture the MMORPG crowd in shooter form, which is a very rare. It's something that I know when they did WildStar, they were trying to create that with a couple of their character classes, but they couldn't quite make it work right. And also, WildStar didn't realize that the majority of MMO players are casual, and WildStar wanted to pitch itself as the, pick us because we're really hardcore. WoW's gotten too soft. They didn't realize that the majority of people play like things like WoW or, casuals.
I'll say I have not killed one sheep in Destiny yet, so it doesn't feel like an MMO yet.
The hardcore guys are still playing EverQuest, because that thing is still going like a motherfucker.
People still play that shit?
There's still expansion packs coming out.
No fucking way.
There's like 12 of them.
Wow. Wait, hold on. Are we talking like vanilla EverQuest or like EverQuest 2?
Like the 1998 EverQuest or whatever it was.
Aren't there still playing? I don't know. Maybe that shouldn't surprise me. Aren't there still?
Because they're
people playing?
hardcore, man.
Well, aren't there still people playing Final Fantasy 11? Steve?
There are. Yeah.
That game's way more recent. That's only 10 years old.
That blows my fucking mind. That blows my mind. Speaking of that, that actually kind of brings me to another topic. So World of Warcraft is apparently bleeding subscribers compared to what it used to have. How much longer does that game have?
Brian's going to go after you for this one.
I know.
No, I mean,
Forever.
no. I think it's a viable thing to bring up. Is that, very much in the same vein as EverQuest 2. I would wager that you have. There's a percentage of people that are going to play that game until literally the servers stop being supported. So that's never going to end.
And then they'll make their own servers.
And second, an MMORPG, the problem with WoW is it's probably so much of its infrastructure has grown, they would have to downsize a lot of it to continue to make it viable. But it's completely possible to continue to be viable with only maybe 1 or 2 million subscribers. The problem is World of Warcraft has become Blizzard's way of financing all its other projects. So if they lose too much at that point, they start to go, oh crap, what else are we going to do for everything else?
I have to believe Hearthstone is just a money-making machine.
Yeah, but
Hearthstone's doing really well. That's true.
I really enjoy it, and I'm not a World of Warcraft guy at all. I really enjoy Hearthstone.
Well, it's not really World of Warcraft oriented, at least in terms of.
And of course, as a result, some of the lore is lost on me.
Sure.
But what a great fucking card game, and I don't say that often because these online card games really aren't my deal.
Yeah.
But and I really don't like the pay to win option that Hearthstone kind of throws around. You can spend a shitload of money and make an epic fucking deck, but it's going to cost you a couple $100.
Yeah.
And so I'm never a fan of pay to win, especially when it milks that much money from the player. But at the same time, dude, what a great and there's no skill involved. I don't care what anybody tells me. You could say, "Oh, I'm a great fucking Hearthstone player." It's a card game, and you can make a great deck, but it's all on how the cards are dealt, baby. So it's.
Well, yeah. I would wager that it's very similar to how poker is a game of skill. At the end of the day, yes, it's a card game predicated on luck, but what you do when you get dealt a good hand. Can you maximize profits? Can you minimize losses? That kind of thing. So, yes, I would agree that there's an element of luck involved, for sure, but that's kind of discounting the fact that some people are very, very good at that game.
Do you think Donald Trump would be a good Hearthstone player?
Or is he already?
He's really good at maximizing profits and managing losses. You know, I feel like he
That's
could
your
be,
endorsement.
I feel like I could be, and I'm not endorsing Donald Trump by any means, but I feel like he could be a really
Say
good
some
person.
provocative things, John.
All I gotta say is, watching a debate where Donald Trump and Carly Fiorina were talking about which one was worse at business, I just couldn't stop laughing.
Well, you know, I mean, you got Carl, and not to get too far away from video games, but I will say that, you know, I will say that, you know, Donald Trump, you know, for Donald Trump to tell somebody, oh, you're a terrible businesswoman when he's declared fucking bankruptcy 4 times.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, whatever. It's kind of like the pot calling up the kettle and saying you are fucking black.
Was there ever an Apprentice video game?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Brandon, you know what to do.
I can think of some great ideas for an Apprentice video game.
You know what to
Actually, I was gonna say, why has there not been like a political office video game?
Holy shit, there was.
Yeah, there are some good ones.
2003.
I think the closest we have had to The Apprentice was back on the Nintendo when you had fucking Wall Street Kid. Did anybody ever play Wall Street Kid?
No, never heard of it.
I got Wall Street Kid as a Christmas present because I think my parents secretly hated me when I was a child, and so I got fucking Wall Street Kid, and oh my god, dude, it is literally exactly how it sounds. You're a dude.
Yeah.
And looking back on it, you're totally fucking Patrick Bateman. You are absolutely Patrick Bateman in Wall Street Kid. But you're a guy who, and your wealthy uncle, Mr. Benedict, has passed away, and you've got $1 million, and the game literally tells you maximize your profits, pamper your sweetheart, and move into $1 million estate. That's how you win. And that fucking. And your girlfriend, I remember her name. Your girlfriend's name is Priscilla, and she never wants to do fucking anything with you.
I want a Brewster's Millions video game.
Brewster's Millions? What is that?
It was a Richard Pryor comedy from the 80s.
There's a Brewster's. What?
That is a random way.
He inherits all this money, and the trick is that in order for him to get it,
he's gonna blow it all so he can get more.
Yeah, he has to give it all away before he can get his real inheritance.
There's a game based on that?
Yeah,
it's a great movie. Richard Pryor, dude, classic, absolute classic.
All right, let me ask you this: Is
funny.
Is there a game based on what's it called? The dancing game, Dancing with the Stars?
There are other games.
It's probably like a game at this point or something.
The reason I mentioned Dancing with the Stars is because, you know, and a quick aside here, if you have not seen Gary Busey on Dancing with the Stars,
it was on the way.
Holy shit!
Of course, it was on the way. What else? What other system was he on?
I watched Dancing with the Stars with Gary Busey last week, and all I'm going to say is that he does ninja kicks that obviously weren't scripted. His dance partner is very confused, and then he grabs the mic, and after mumbling for about a minute, the guy pulls it away from him and literally says, "I'm going to have somebody play that back for me because I don't understand what you're saying." He grabs the mic a second time and very clearly says, "I dance in a cosmos of riddles."
Genius.
And at that point, I realized that all that coke that Gary Busey has snorted over the past 30 years has actually caused his brain to elevate to a higher state of existence.
Did you ever watch that Comedy Central show?
Again, we're not endorsing that.
Yeah, I'm not endorsing snorting coke by any means. But
you remember that Comedy Central show? I think it was Life with Busey or something.
No, I don't. But now that I do, I have to.
It was like a reality. Yeah, Comedy Central ran it like in the early 2000s. It was like a reality show where this guy had to live with Gary Busey for like a while, and they filmed it.
But it got too real.
It was fucking crazy. The dude, like Gary Busey, is just fucking with him all the time, making him do weird, crazy shit.
I kind of have to see that now. Wow.
Yeah, it was a classic.
Awesome.
I think it ran for like 1 or 2 seasons.
That's fucking outstanding.
I don't think it wasn't Life with Busey. It was something close to that.
Man, dude, all this, I'll tell you what, Super Deformed Gamescast, all this video game coverage, it
was called I'm with Busey.
We get the best game coverage out there, guys. We're talking about politics and Gary Busey. I love it.
Next episode is religious advisement.
Well, I mean, and also, to be fair, though, I mean, gaming culture does have a political voice at this point because, like you said, with game changers and everything, I mean...
You know, I'll tell you what. There is a political gaming-related story that happened this year, and I swear to God, if it's not poetic justice, then there's no poetic justice on the planet. And it involves former California Senator Leland Yee. You know who this guy is?
Yeah.
So Leland Yee was a California senator, and he crusaded for years against video game violence. And he was the guy who said, I think it was last year, that gamers need to stop talking about this. Gamers have no what was it he said? Gamers have no platform here. They have no room to talk here.
Yeah. We have no platform in our own arena. That makes sense.
They have no room to talk. Now, in what I can only describe as karma looked at this guy and said, I don't know how, but I have to fuck him. Right? And so it finally did. This year, when he was put up on charges and convicted of arms racketeering, money laundering, and I'm talking like when I say arms trafficking, he was trafficking in arms from fucking Thailand and Colombia.
Jesus.
So real life GTA.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Pretty much all the charges from Mafia 2.
This is a guy who crusaded against violent video games for years, and he is now behind bars for arms trafficking. And that, to me, is just absolute deliciousness.
Somebody should make a game about it.
I guarantee you we're going to see a Lifetime movie about it. I'd love to see it. I'd pay to see it. I can't stand that motherfucker. But Brian, you make
guarantee you've made.
Brian, you do. I make a lot of good guarantees. But Brian, in all seriousness, you do make a good point. I mean, there is, video games. There is a growing political element to them.
Sure.
And I think, and I think part of that has to do with the fact that, I mean, not all, but the majority of gamers these days are we all grew up with the Super Nintendo, and that's when it started, really. That's when gaming, as we know it today, started with the NES in 1985. And now that we've all grown up, we're all mature. We still play our games, but.
And I'd also, it's not even just age. It's that, you alluded to this earlier. You are a successful professional that makes very, very good money, lives a comfortable lifestyle, has a loving family. You're not a 17-year-old kid who doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to politics and everything else. So the player base, just in general, has not only gotten older, it's gotten smarter. And in that regard, yes, gamers are going to look at issues in terms of political, ramifications, and in terms of financial ramifications and all that stuff. All that stuff is now to the forefront now, and people just have to kind of deal with that.
Yeah, I think it's like anything else. When you find a bunch of people with a common interest, and especially when they're all professional and can have their voices heard, you're going to introduce a new group into the political scene.
And having said that, I mean, we're not going to turn it into a fucking political talk show.
Oh no, not at all.
But I think that's a really good point.
Totally started going the wrong way with that.
Well, here's the thing, and it all ties back to something that somebody said to me last week, and it was, it was actually revolving around this podcast. I was talking about it, with somebody who said, "Oh yeah, me and some guys I know we're doing this gaming podcast," and he says, "Well, how many viewers you get?" And I said, "Oh, not many right now, but you don't build Rome in a day." And he says, "Well, what if you ever don't have a really wide audience?" And and I said, that's not really the point.
No.
That's not really the point of all this. The point is just to sit down and talk about video games with 4 guys who share my interest, or 3 guys who share my interests, and if anybody wants to listen, that's great. But if nobody wants to listen, that's cool too. I mean, it is what it is. We do this and I broadcast it live, and we have fun with it.
Don't get me wrong, we would like a wide audience, but
we would love a wide audience.
So John can piss them off.
Right.
Yeah, it's a talent, man.
It's no fun to say incendiary things if nobody listens to it.
It's a talent, man. So, Brandon, obviously you don't work with us, but I do work with Steve, and I work with Brian, and Steve has seen this. Steve, when we first met, what was the first thing I said to you? Go ahead.
Well, John told me that he would eat my soul if I went into a document on the shared network. And as he was muttering, as he walked away, he said, "It will sustain me." and he didn't say that to anyone in particular, but I was like, I think I'm going to be friends with this dude.
I feel like the only response to that is that's your tax dollars at work right there.
Well, no, see, but here's the best part is that Steve actually, I was completely, because I'm kind of a dick at work. I'm kind of a dick in general, but I'm an even bigger dick at work. And then I happen to mention games, and Steve says, "I like Final Fantasy," and I was like, "You're my best friend."
And then Brian was walking by him.
And then Brian was walking by, and he's like, "Did you guys say video games?" And that is literally how this came about. It's kind of awesome. What are we at now? We getting over an hour now?
We're at about an hour.
Okay, so last week we went about an hour and 45 minutes, and I feel like that's too long.
It is.
I feel like an hour 40 because I was listening to it and I was like, holy shit. Wow.
God, I can't even listen to me for an hour.
I can't even listen to it. And I've got a deep masculine voice, and I've got a very sexy voice, and I couldn't listen to it. So I think we're going to cap it here for this week.
Speaking of sexy voices, though, I did see the League of Legends Let's Play. That was pretty awesome.
Very well done, Brian. Keep them,
yeah,
keep them coming back. I would say that out of all of us, I actually think you're the best on the mic.
Well,
like I said, breathing into it a lot.
Yeah, unfortunately, the mic I have is very, very sensitive. When I initially bought this, it was for, very split-second communication in terms of a hardcore raid setting. Obviously, I don't need to do that anymore, but yeah, I'm going to start learning how to kind of get it further away for necessary reasons.
You have a very sensitive mic. Last week before we started broadcasting, I was wondering whether you were either A, having a heart attack, or B, getting inappropriately excited about the podcast. Your mic was picking up some serious breathing. I was like, does Brian have apnea? What's going on?
That Star Wars Battlefront.
That Star Wars Battlefront got him really worked up.
Really?
That Battlefront footage, that sweet Battlefront footage.
Yeah.
And I'll kind of close with this. Brandon, you gave me a really good idea. I am absolutely going to do a Right to Hell Retribution Let's Play. And I'm going to be drunk while I do it.
You should get a few people on for that.
I would actually happily have any of you guys on a Right to Hell Let's Play. If hell, Steve and Brian, you guys could just come over.
Yeah, we could plan on that.
We could, and I've got a big 100-inch screen we could do it on. I feel really bad.
So, do you guys want to come over to my house? We can play video games and
we play video games in the basement. And, my wife would be upstairs. Don't worry about it, though.
It's just funny because 20, over 30 years of gaming at this point, and it still boils down to, hey, guys, want to come over to my house and play video games?
And I promise you guys, I will not shave my neck for a week.
I will hold you to that.
The neck beard will be in full effect. All right, anybody else got anything?
Nah, we're good.
Anybody?
I think we're good.
Brandon, you still there? I think we might have lost Brandon.
Hello?
There he is.
Yeah. I switched my mic to mute there.
Oh, okay. All right.
So yeah, hold on. We missed something. So this week, Mighty Number 9, right? The Inafune joint.
Oh God, yeah! I can't believe I missed this. Go ahead.
Yeah, they delayed the demo that was supposed to be an apology for backers for delaying the real game.
I'm a big Mega Man guy, and so I
bought the Legacy collection or the Anniversary collection.
Yeah, we played it. We share played it.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did share play it. And I actually might do that's another good candidate for a Let's Play, by the way, is Mega Man. But I'll tell you what, I'm really excited about Mighty Number 9. And my confidence in this game dips on a daily basis.
Have you seen like the extended demo of like?
Look good.
There's like a 45-minute video on YouTube that just goes through everything,
and
it's 1080p 60. It looks like a boring ass game.
It really does not look good.
And not just the graphics, which look like shit, but it just doesn't look fun to play.
It looks bleh, like I'm just like it's okay.
The characters talk too much. The level design is kind of bland. It just reuses classic scenes from other Mega Man games.
Like even the frame rate dips down into the 20s.
Yeah, the dude was recording on a 970 and had frame rate issues.
And that is not what I would call. And Brandon, you obviously seen it. I don't know if you guys have, but that is not what I would call a graphically taxing game by any stretch.
It looks like a mobile game. It looks like a mobile game.
Yeah, I am not confident that Mighty Number 9 is going to ship in the final form that you or I really want it to. I actually find myself getting more excited about Bloodstained.
That better be fucking awesome.
That better be fucking good. Yeah, because I need a Castlevania game in my life. And
you play Axiom Verge?
Yeah, I love Axiom Verge.
Yeah.
Yes, I love old school Metroidvania games. And I probably play Symphony of Night about once a year on my Vita.
Have you played Dust and Elysian Tale?
I have not.
Okay, that one is one to check out.
I haven't played Dust. There's a few. Have you heard of Chasm?
No.
You should look Chasm up. It's coming out for PS4 and PC later this year.
Oh, it's coming out.
Chasm looks fucking awesome, and it's got that 16-bit sprite thing going on that I really, really love. So Chasm is one to look out for. Hyper Light Drifter.
That is some damn good pixel art.
We're talking about Chasm?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, Chasm looks sexy.
Yeah, it does.
Chasm looks fucking sexy, and it's all procedurally generated too.
Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah,
very much. I get a serious Symphony of the Night vibe from Chasm. So that looks good. Hyper Light Drifter looks really good. If you're into top-down Zelda type games, that's a really good looking game. There's a lot of good indies coming. I'm telling you, there's a lot of good. Broforce looks really good, which it looks fucking stupid, but in a good way. But dude, Chasm, that is the game to check out, man. That's number one on my indie radar right now. Is Chasm.
It looks sweet.
It looks fucking good.
The procedurally generated thing can go drastically wrong, of course.
It can, it actually can, but I think it's more in the vein of Rogue Legacy.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what the vibe I got from reading the blog.
And if it is, then fuck yeah, dude, because I'm all about Rogue Legacy.
It was a great game.
That's a great fucking game. And Steve, if you haven't played Rogue Legacy, there's something wrong with you.
I think I have it downloaded.
There's plenty.
At least play it for like half an hour, just to get the idea.
It's not for everybody, man, but damn, when it clicks, dude, it clicks. Awesome.
There's some sweet Shovel Knight DLC too this week for free.
Oh, I forgot about the Shovel Knight DLC, dude. Plague of Shadow.
Yeah, for free.
I will literally be downloading that as soon as we're done here. I love the shit out of some Shovel Knight. That was one of my favorite games this year. Obviously, it came out in 2014, but it's new for me because it didn't come out for PS until this year. Yeah. But that is one of my Game of the Year candidates, the Shovel Knight.
I played Transgalactic Tournament recently. That was, it was alright. It's a lot of pay to win. They advertise stuff at the beginning of the fight. It's kind of annoying.
I like Super Time Force.
That was pretty good.
That's a fun game. I really enjoy that.
I couldn't spend much time on it. It was fun.
Brandon, I know you didn't really care for it, but
I tried it just to see what it was because it was free. I mean, I just played it for like 10 minutes and was like, eh.
It's good. I mean, for what it is.
I didn't really give it a fair shot, but I just kind of wanted to see what it was about.
All right, well, I think I'm tapped. I want some more cake. I'm going to go upstairs and get some more cake. Anybody else? Are we going to close it out?
I'm going to go back to Dark Souls.
Yeah.
All right, as always, this has been Super Deformed Gamescast. This was episode 3. We didn't even mention the title of the podcast, which was Such a Lust for Podcasting. Which is if you play Metal Gear Solid 5, you'll understand you'll understand that quote.
You don't even, at this point you don't even have to play the game
you really don't. Yeah.
It's because of me.
Yep. Just watch the ending of the game on YouTube.
That's
as always, we don't
story
always
doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, there's no story.
Fulcrum Simulator.
Fulcrum Simulator. That game really gives you the tools to put people on a balloon and launch them into the air screaming.
And have your own fun.
And you can create your own.
Look, Brandon's guilty too.
He is. Look at that, dude. I knew it.
60 hours of creating my own fun. It gave me the tools. Plenty of tools. I had an iDroid and a sniper chick that was barely wearing any clothes, a dog with an eye patch. They gave me the tools.
We are going to drive this motherfucker into the ground before all is said and done. I'm telling you.
We're going to get cease and desist.
I'm gonna shut it down before we go on for another half an hour. This has been episode 3 of Super Deformed Gamescast. As always, we don't always agree, and it's not always poetry, but we always keep it real. See you next week.
Later.
Peace.